is Halloween weekend, and we have seen some creative costumes across our ESPN family of networks, as well as from you folks, the college football fans. Not only have been creative, but they've been some really interesting ones. Look, we got Ricky Bobby coming into the stadium as well. Who? Oh, there's Waldo. We found Waldo. And we welcome you in studio. We figured we might as well indulge as well, as some of you are no doubt enjoying the festivities. We thought we might as well dress up as well. Happy Halloween to you all. Over there, we got Matt Sims, a.k.a. He Who Must Not Be Named, for you Harry Potter fans. Scooby, you're going to have to explain your costume.
Listen, bro, you need to step your anime game up.
I do. No, you
believe it.
Clearly.
I am a shinobi from the Hidden Leaf Village. Everybody out in the YouTube chat, just so you know, we're peeking in there. We're watching all the comments. Say whatever. We're here with you.
Not whatever. Not whatever.
Whatever that is PG-13.
Sure. We'll go with that.
All right, that's good. Yeah.
I'm Sam Ravech. This is the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G.
Captain Sam Ravech.
Yes, Captain. Week 9 has provided some excitement, and it is also the final weekend before the official college football playoff rankings are announced, actually on Halloween Day. I got to imagine, guys, we're going to see some shifting based on what we saw today. Number 6, Oklahoma goes down to Kansas in Larrytown. We'll talk about that. Oregon stomped into Salt Lake City today. That was certainly impressive. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
But I mean, look, this is, you're getting down to it. I think you're starting to see some separation a little bit here, guys.
Yeah,
and maybe
definitely.
We got to stop disrespecting Georgia.
And Georgia.
I was disrespecting Georgia. I was very much disrespecting Georgia, but I probably shouldn't have respected Oklahoma as much as I did. And in this game against Kansas, Mother Nature was involved. Midway through the second, we had a lightning delay for about an hour. And then when play resumed, half the crowd was gone, and you could hear them chanting, "Boomer Sooner." And Dylan Gabriel couldn't have answered the call any better. That was his second rushing touchdown of the game. They stormed back to make it a 7-point lead. And they were down 14-0 at one point. Check out my boy here, sad, because he's like, here it comes. So in the third quarter, Kansas down 1, and they got the ball after a turnover by Oklahoma. And Jason Bean, he's a runner, he's a track star.
Turn the Jets on.
Wow. In there.
Turbo boosters right there.
38-yard touchdown. He had 62 yards rushing on the day. Kansas takes a lead, fourth quarter. Jason Bean should have been a track star a little bit more in the fourth, because he had 2 interceptions in that frame alone. But hey, if it hits you right in the chest, my boy, you gotta catch it. I don't care if it was raining. Sooners take over on downs, and they're in scoring position. Dylan Gabriel, man's was hot when it came down to rushing in the end zone. 3 rushing touchdowns on the day. Did not throw the ball that well. No. However, Kansas trails by 1. And late in the fourth, Jason Bean makes a huge throw on 4th and 6. Lawrence Arnold with a 37-yard catch and run. And you could, what's that? You could smell the upset brewing. Moments later, Neal in the red zone. Takes it into the end zone. It looks like the Sooner defense let him score, and they take the lead, but give Gabriel one more chance.
A lot of time.
They're down 5. So final seconds. The crowd is amped. Jayhawks looking to get the upset. Dylan Gabriel tosses it up, and it's no good. Sheesh. Kansas gets the upset. A phenomenal game for them. Huge win for Jason Bean. As I said, Dylan Gabriel's numbers, not that great. 14 for 19, 171, an interception, but 3 rushing touchdowns. The story of the day is the way that this Kansas defense was able to attack Oklahoma's new-found defense of Brett Venables. Matt, they put up 38 on them. And when you look at the Big 12 and Oklahoma's chances to make the college football playoff, I wouldn't want to say nothing, but it is next to nothing. Huge loss for them. And we know that this also hurts Texas.
This definitely discredits, I feel like, the whole Big 12, right, as we look at them and their conference in the college football playoff. The game started off really with Mello Dotson. He had the pick 6 to start it. Dylan Gabriel threw that hitch late. And that really was the beginning of it. The delay actually, I thought, gave Oklahoma a chance. And here's the pick six by Mello Dotson. Dylan Gabriel throws the hitch out there late. Great reaction by him, stepping in front and running to the house. Probably the easiest pick six of his career. But, Oklahoma just sluggish from the start. They were sluggish against UCF a week ago. They do it again here in Kansas on the road. And the delay was good for them. It actually gave them a chance to kind of recalibrate and get their energy back. But the running game by Devin Neal, being his ability to make plays with his feet and his throwing was crucial throughout the football game. I know he threw those 2 interceptions late, so those were obviously big plays that allowed Oklahoma back into the game. But overall, the Jayhawks play phenomenal football today, and opportunistic football.
And you mentioned it, Scooby, but what this means now for the Big 12 at large, right?
Yeah.
Because nobody was rooting harder for Oklahoma than Texas.
Right.
Which is kind of funny because, when you think about it, that was really the only chance Texas had to make the college football playoff this year. And now Oklahoma has just a 33% chance of making it to the college football playoff. Texas is less than that. Obviously, I think this kind of tells you a little bit about where the Big 12 is at as a conference. But Oklahoma had the 38th toughest strength of schedule the rest of the season coming into the game today.
Yeah.
Now, I got to imagine that is going to get higher. As far as easier, like the schedule is going to get easier.
Right.
Where do you get this win back?
The problem for Texas and for Oklahoma is that they have no ranked opponents remaining on the schedule.
Yeah,
so there's no opportunities. And that's where both teams, Kansas State's a good football team. So now it really depends on just how impressive your wins look today. I know they beat BYU with the backup quarterback Malik Murphy out there with Texas, but still it's just the way that they win is so important for both of these teams going forward, just to give them some chance to make it to the playoff.
Yeah, completely disappointing for Oklahoma. And I just keep on thinking about Texas because now we're in a little bit of a weird situation where if Texas is to win out, right?
Yeah.
Let's say they win out and win the Big 12 championship game. They're a one-loss team that's looking to get into the CFP, but the one loss that you have is against an Oklahoma team that just lost to Kansas. So now that discredits you a little bit more. So if I look at the situation, like let's say Michigan or Ohio State, they have a one loss and one of them aren't a conference champion, are you going to pick one of those teams over Texas if they're to win out because you feel as if this team is better? Because as we know, Michigan and Ohio State, both of them can't be conference champions.
Right, no doubt about it. And we'll have more on Texas in just a bit. But there was a top 20 showdown in Louisville earlier today with implications to see basically who would have the inside track to the ACC title game and presumptively take on Florida State. First quarter, Louisville looking to score on their first drive. Jawar Jordan had a great day here today, Maddie, and this was impressive to see what he can do on the ground.
Yeah, 21 carries for 163 yards. This is something that we've seen from him all year. His ability to be explosive as far as just taking what the defense gives him. You see the speed, the burst right there, his ability to make people miss, and then the leg drive right there. And I love this, too, at the end. Just Louisville, all the guys straining to push their guy into the end zone. It just kind of shows you what Jeff Brom is building there in Louisville.
Next drive for Louisville, Jordan gets the handoff again, drives to the end zone, his second TD of the day, makes it 14-0 Louisville. Louisville put their foot on the gas pedal here at home and didn't let it up, especially on the defensive side as well. Third quarter now, 3rd and 18 for the Blue Devils. Riley Leonard tries to squeeze it in, and it's picked off.
Again, Ron English and his impact on this football team defensively has been unbelievable. Every team that they have gone up against, it's been a struggle to move the football on them consistently. Jack Plummer, the numbers aren't super impressive, but he did a really good job of just making easy completions, controlling the football game. He knew the whole time that Louisville was in complete control, so he did a good job of just managing it as they went and relying on Jordan and his ability to run.
Real quick, Maddie, back to you. How does Louisville match up with Florida State in a potential ACC title game? How do those two teams match up?
The Johnnies and Joes, it definitely goes to Florida State, right? It absolutely does. They got more dudes on their football team. That's the facts, right? But as far as just the way that these teams are schemed up, Louisville actually plays more disciplined on the defensive side of the football. So I think as the matchup goes, this is something that's going to be very interesting. If Louisville can execute and win some of those first and second down situations on both the offense and defense, they can give Florida State a real problem.
Yeah, that's why this game was so big in terms of just the ACC and who's going to be able to play Florida State in that championship game, which is why I was also really upset when I saw Louisville lose that game early on in the season. Just to be able to continue playing and get that opportunity to even maybe be the TCU of last year. So let's get on to that team that we're talking about, Florida State, because they took on Wake Forest, and Florida State has made a name for themselves and a solid top 4 team. They took on Wake Forest, and we'll pick this one up in the first quarter. No score. Jordan Travis had himself a day, especially in the first half. From 13 yards out, look at my legs go. You can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man. They lead 7-0 at that point. Second quarter, Wake would respond down 10. Keyshawn Williams, from 3 yards out, he gets in there and makes reservations for 6. It's a 3-point game. Later in the second, Travis throws to Keon Coleman, and you already know, man, he's to the end zone. What did the 5 fingers say to the face? He hit him with a slap. That was a stiff arm to the end zone. Now more from the man.
Trey Benson.
There we go. Trey Benson on the screen. The 80-yarder, Matt, and this was impressive the way they set it up.
And this is why we have to consider Florida State as one of those 4 teams that we just mentioned in the college football playoff, because they are dangerous. When they put it together, they are a dominant football team, and that's what's so frustrating about them is that they don't put it together enough for me at times. But, I mean, Trey Benson, his ability to run physical and with speed, it's unmatched across the country now. Jordan Travis is probably the best battle-tested quarterback in the nation other than maybe Jaden Daniels. And, Keon Coleman, greatest transfer of the year so far. I mean, and that's why the portal is so important, because this dude has absolutely changed their football team.
All right, I'll tell you what, guys, there were a ton of plays this week that were worthy of making it into the prestigious Holy Cow category. However, only 5 will prevail. And we got, I don't know what this is, but we got it. We got it. Let's go ahead and get into the plays here. We start with Florida International, and they were taking on Jackson State on Wednesday. How about Chris Mitchell with the one-handed grab and the fade route towards the end zone, brought it down for the touchdown.
Nice.
The problem was the catch was great, but FIU would go on to lose by 25.
What a spell to hold on to the football.
We call that catch the ball one-handed jutsu.
We rank them 0 to 100. I'm giving it a 90. I think it's a solid 90. Good catch, good throw.
It's okay.
Didn't win the game.
It's okay.
I think that matters.
Yes, it's fine. It will do.
Good. What do we got?
Call me the ninja that's ready to grade this one at a high level. At a high level.
High level.
So let's run it back. Let's run it over here. What we got? We got West Virginia, Bishop Jr. Was that a ninja kick? And then caught?
How did he catch
off
that?
The bounce?
Boink.
Tip balls and kick balls equals pick balls.
Careful.
Careful now.
I know where you
What
were
a
going.
conjuring of spirits there. Very impressive.
There was too many spirits at work, too much jutsus at work.
What are you giving it to?
Not a high one,
What
but
do you
it's
got?
a high, a little 80.
Tough grader in Scoob coming.
Yes,
I
Scoob.
thought I would give it a little something higher, but he got lucky.
His name is Scoob, but he's also Negative Nancy. Okay,
Negative Nancy.
not very high with the scoring.
Oh, Matt, hopefully you give this one a better score because we've been talking about this man all year long, Keon Coleman, making it look easy like he always does.
Oh my God, summoning the Dark Arts right there. Keon Coleman, look at him, number 4. The 4 cardinal directions. Yes, it doesn't matter, east, west, north, south. It's going to be a touchdown when you throw it to Keon Coleman. He is definitely of Slytherin house.
He is.
And I give that a really, really evil score
Of?
90.
Ooh,
Yes,
90?
90.
90?
Oh, evil, yes.
Okay.
Very evil 90.
Believe it.
All right, Scoob, over to your old stomping grounds in Iowa. It's actually not fall there right now. It's actually snowing.
During this time of the year, this sounds just about right. Let's see the play. What amazes me more is the weather for this, but what we got? Okay, all right. I'm going to go ahead and give this one a little 100 because
100.
weather like this at this time of the year is unheard of. And if you're playing in it, I salute you. That means you are a well-trained ninja.
All right.
All right. I hate Hogwarts in winter.
Notre Dame, guys, had some trickery going on with Chris Tyree on this kickoff here. And Tyree turns on the Jets. Woo! Make a man miss. Go underneath the tackle.
That was special.
Dodging punches,
Keep those
dodging
feet
kicks.
moving. Keep those feet moving.
Speed, 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 speed.
All the way in for the score. 82 yards for the punt return.
You know what? As the next Hokage of the Hidden Leaf Village, I am going to rate this one as well because that's how you get around. We're going to give that one a 98. Tough effort right there from Notre Dame. They put up big numbers today.
Yes.
They needed it.
Where was he from? What did you say? What was that town you said?
If you
The
need to
Hidden
know,
Leaf Village, sir. I am a shinobi from the Hidden Leaf Village. How many
you're just
times I
not
gotta say
cool,
it for that?
Sam.
No, clearly.
It's okay.
Watch
You're
some
not cool.
Crunchyroll, bro. Watch
Yeah. Not enough. More Adult Swim.
All right, so those are some of the best plays that we saw here today. Look, it gets a little bit worse when you look at what we got in the bruh category today.
Things that just made us say,
Yeah.
bruh!
Yeah, and it starts with South Carolina State redshirt freshman Dimitri Simmons. And guys, I was watching this play, and you couldn't help but say, bravo! It is football, but you don't want to use your feet that way.
You know, I wanted the cartoon sound effect that goes, whoop, 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 whoop.
It is a banana peel on the field.
Yes. He threw a red shell. Got him.
Oh, man, that's
That's
tough.
the definition of bruh right there.
Yes.
But I give him credit for the pursuit of the football. And then also, finally, SMU taking over Tulsa, and they would go on to win 69-10. I certainly think that is worthy of a bruh there.
That one was a little tough
Yes.
for them because SMU put it down on them. I mean, at halftime, I was like, "Is that even real, bro? Bruh, is this a basketball score?"
Yeah.
When is it too much? When do you say, all right, let's call off the dogs and take it easy on a team? What's the limit?
I mean, that's pretty high. You could ask Oregon, too. They did it to Portland State earlier.
That's
and
true.
they didn't take
That's
the
true.
foot off the
like
gas
it.
pedal.
I
You
like it. Actually,
Evil.
no. Actually, real Matt, no, I don't like that. But Slytherin
likes
yes,
it. Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
So, yes, considering this is the Halloween edition, we figured we would go ahead and fully jump in with 2 feet. But it is also Halloween weekend out in Hollywood, and Primetime is in town playing in Primetime as well.
UCLA's defense against
the high-powered offense from Colorado.
this is strength versus strength.
With a quarterback like this, doing what he's capable of doing.
Throws down the seam. Shador with a laser beam.
He's certainly in the conversation for top quarterbacks in the country the way he's playing right now.
We all know they're going to double team Xavier Weaver, try to take him out the game. It's just the next guy who got to step up.
And that's what our attention is this week is we need to try to disrupt the timing of the routes, and then we really need to get pressure on the quarterback.
That defense that they feature is phenomenal.
They got a very talented front seven.
They got to Latu, another sack for UCLA.
You guys have all seen it. I mean, he's just insane off the edge. We're going to have to do a great job protecting two in the pocket and also moving the sticks in the run game, matching the intensity up front. We those guys that can get out there and just do whatever we want to do.
Big one out in the Rose Bowl tonight. Colorado, UCLA. We see all you folks in the YouTube chat talking up the Pac-12, so we want to know your thoughts about this matchup as well. You know, guys, the last time that we saw the Buffs, they were in the midst of blowing a 29-0 lead at the half against Stanford, and then they ended up losing that game, right? Well, they get to face a UCLA team today that beat Stanford 42-7 last week. So regardless of who they are playing, basically what they are playing or who they're playing against, people are going to come to the television to watch this Colorado team play, guys. So what should folks be keeping an eye out in this matchup, just in general, Matty?
Well, who is the starting quarterback today for UCLA? Is it going to be Ethan Garbers or is it going to be Dante Moore? The other issue is just, can you protect Shador Sanders? Because Leatu Latu is a phenomenal football player.
Yeah.
I mean, this dude is an absolute beast off the edge. You just heard it in that little spiel that we just said.
Yes.
This dude is a phenomenal football player. They only give up 14 points a game. So what's going to break here? Is Colorado going to be able to be explosive, create a lot of big plays down the field, put points on the board, and win in a shootout? Or is UCLA going to be able to push them around physically and win the line of scrimmage battle and be able to run the football with Carson Steele?
Yeah, one thing we do know about Colorado is that the offensive line lets Shador Sanders get beat up a lot.
Yes,
when you
porous.
talk
It's very
about QB hits and the pressure, Shador Sanders he's been hit more than any other QB in the last 5 years.
No doubt. Some of that is on him, though. So,
Yes,
I mean,
most
I will
definitely.
always say that just a little bit. We have to be real about that.
For sure. And that is a great point by you, Matt. And on the other side of the ball, UCLA, this season, they've hit the quarterback and pressured the quarterback more than any other defense in the last 5 years. So this is a weakness versus a strength, and typically the defense tends to win that battle. So the week off, you would hope that Colorado was able to figure some things out, because Deion said he didn't want the week off to keep the team focused. However, when you get that week off, you get to clean up a couple of other things, and that's what I'm going to be paying attention towards this game is how are you going to be able to protect Shedeur Sanders?
And I know it's like a weird thing, and there's probably like a coach talk here, but just Colorado does have a lot of issues with penalties. They do. Yeah. Unfortunately, they cause a lot of self-inflicted wounds offensively and defensively on themselves. So that'll be something that on the road they need to play a cleaner game to stay ahead of schedule, so to speak, that cliche. So they're not shooting themselves in the foot.
Sometimes Colorado and Coach Prime love to play under the lights. They love to play when all the eyes are on them, and they will be tonight. They had to open up another section. I think they took opened up some seats in the Rose Bowl just to make sure everyone could get in there. But at the start of the season, Colorado's win total, at least Vegas put it at over under 3. They've already eclipsed that. So, Scoob, what signifies a successful season for Colorado and Coach Prime now that they've already reached that number?
You got to make a bowl game. It's about as simple as that. The loss to Stanford was such a shot in the kneecap because at that point you could look at it and say, all right, you have a way better chance of being able to at least get in a bowl game, because as we know, they only won one game last year. But out of their last 5 remaining opponents, 3 of them are ranked, and all of them have remaining records, winning records. So it is not easy. They have a difficult schedule coming down the back end, and if you're able to leave that with an opportunity to go towards a bowl game, Matt, that is a successful season to me.
You the man. What a transition right there. You can see that I wanted to say something. I appreciate it, Scoob.
You put your wand up.
And this is, you're right. Yeah. So with Colorado defensively, have to stop the run game. All right, that is really what UCLA wants to do. They want to win in the running game with Carson Steele. They're second in the Pac-12 right now. They're 12th nationally with their run game. So Colorado, make UCLA one-dimensional. Stop their run game. Force Ethan Garbers, right, or the young Dante Moore, the freshman, to win the football game against you.
All right, switching gears here over to UCLA and the Fighting Chip Kellys, one of the best rushing teams in the country. They're averaging over 215 yards per game.
Yes, sir.
What I don't think a lot of people saw coming for UCLA was, Scoob, you touched on it, was this defense. This was a defensive unit that ranked 86th in the country last year. They allowed over 400 yards per game. So if you're UCLA and Chip Kelly, how do you win this game, Matt?
Physicality, right?
Yeah.
And really, that's why we said Latu earlier, because he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be very difficult for Colorado to block. I hope they have a specific game plan to slow him down up front. But UCLA really has the ability to play man-to-man coverage and also sit back and play zone if they need to. The great thing about what they've shown this year is their versatility to kind of do whatever they need to get the win versus that specific team. They did a great job of stopping Cam Ward and Washington State's offense, really held them the entire football game. And DeAnthony Lynn, the son of Anthony Lynn, who is a former head coach in the NFL, his impact, DeAnthony Lynn, has been unbelievable for UCLA. And the fact that we're talking about them as a defensive superpower in the Pac-12 just kind of shows you kind of where Brian Kelly, knows the focus of his team is this year.
Yeah. We definitely got to tip our hat to Coach Kelly, because what he's done with this program is remarkable. And one thing about this game that, we should all figure this out, is that it's sold out. The Rose Bowl, if you remember it last year when they would have games, there was nobody there. Yeah. And a year later, thanks to the Prime effect, however, UCLA has turned themselves into a respectable program out there. And I definitely want to tip my hat over to Brian Kelly. Chip Kelly?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep doing it.
But the physicality that he brings over to this team, the creativity in his play calling has definitely made a difference. And I think Colorado is going to have their hands full with that.
We're just going to call him Coach Kelly now. That's my bad. All right, that's my fault. I'm an amateur. What can I say?
You guys ready to make some picks?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Let's
I know
do it.
you are.
Because your boy was 2-0 last week. After
Still in
let's
last
forget
place,
about
bro.
let's forget about these 3 weeks prior to that where we went 0-6. But 2-0. We will pick this Colorado UCLA game. We will also pick Oregon State and Arizona for those Pac-12 fans that are in the chat right now. I'm going to take Colorado here and primetime going down to the Rose Bowl. Like I said, I think they have a little chip on their shoulder, and Coach Prime obviously not too happy with, no pun intended.
No pun intended there. I'm sure the chat's going to be ripping us, too, for saying Brian Kelly, too. I really apologize.
The chat's pretty right now.
I'm taking Colorado. Scoop, who you taking here?
I'm going to roll with Colorado in this game as well. I know, tough decision to make, but I like them coming off the bye week.
I love it.
Yeah, Matt likes it.
Because I don't want to be tied up with you anyway. Yeah. Coming off the bye week, I think they'll be able to do something. The thing about Travis Hunter coming into that game last week, great on the offensive end, but on the defensive side of the ball, he struggled. And I think he was still trying to get his legs under him.
Yeah.
He should definitely figure that out this week, and I think they've schemed up some things for a tough Chip Kelly team.
This could be easy points for Matt right here.
Easy.
Could be easy
Summon
points.
the Death Eaters, my friend, right there. All right, UCLA.
Their defense. I'm sorry, Colorado, it's been fun. You've lost 3 of the last 4. You're going to have a tough time making a bowl game. I'm just telling you right now because UCLA, this team is legit, and I think this defense is going to be the difference in the game. Colorado's going to have a hard time having as many points as they've had in the last.
So right now the chat is clearly UCLA. We got a prediction. We got a 38-24 prediction.
Specific,
I see you in there,
like
Free.
that.
And then we got Brandon. He says UCLA wins by 10. And what are your guys' take on Notre Dame? We got that question. We'll eventually get to that game real soon. We will have much of our thoughts on Notre Dame.
We certainly will get to Notre Dame. Oregon State, Arizona. Guys, I'm taking Arizona here. What head coach Jed Fish has done, I think, is probably one of the more impressive turnaround jobs that's not being talked about at all in college football.
Very true.
They clobbered Washington State on the road last week, 44-6. They probably should have beaten Washington at home in overtime. They didn't go for it when they probably should have for 2. I like this Arizona team tonight. I like what they've been doing, Scoop.
Yeah. I would love to be on the side with you, double up. You had a nice win last week, 2 of them things, but I can't go with Arizona over here. I'm going to go with Oregon State. I watched a couple of their games this season. I love what DJ Uliunglele is doing, and they've really got some playmakers in that wide receiver room. They're a fast team, physical team. I think they can win this game.
Watch out for Martinez in the run game for Oregon State. Again, this is a team that's trying to play physical brand of football. They only give up 20 points per game. They beat Utah. They beat UCLA. They've gone against some really tough football teams. I think they're a little bit more battle-tested. DJ Uliunglele is playing really good football. I take Oregon State with the dub here.
All right, we'll keep it in the Pac-12. College Game Day was out in Salt Lake City earlier this morning for the 5th consecutive ranked matchup between these two teams. I guess you could probably call this a Pac-12 elimination game, maybe, because the winner of this one's going to have the inside track to face off against Washington. Late in the first quarter, Oregon up by 4. Jordan James with the silky smooth route running. Bo Nix puts it on the money.
They got to work real quick in this game,
Jordan James, Bucky Irvin, this backfield is loaded with talent, and out of the backfield, too, catching the football.
Early in the second here, Ducks got the ball. Bo Nix play action and dancing in the end zone there for Troy Franklin, who is going to be taken off the board early in the draft next year.
Will Stein with a really well-designed play right there, bluffing and then going behind in the back-end line.
Nix fakes the handoff here, slings it outside. Trayshawn Holden with the score here. And the Ducks go on to beat the Utes 35-6.
Not even close.
I mean, look, this is one of the toughest places to play in all of college football. And Oregon goes in there and steals Utah's lunch money and doesn't say sorry about it. I mean, that's what happened today. It was impressive to see what Oregon was able to do, and they were playing a little bit ticked off. It felt like they felt like they were disrespected after that Washington loss. I feel like.
Well, no, they disrespected themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really the fact is they are the better football team than Washington, and that's the way they need to play the rest of the year. You need to go out there and you need to make statement wins like this. To go into Utah and to put up that amount of points like that, super impressive right now for Oregon.
Yeah, the way that Oregon played today, for me, I've had them in my top 4. I have disrespected Georgia all season. They showed up today, but I've had Oregon as a top 4 team just because I love the way that they play defense and offense. And then Bo Nix has been one of the most efficient passers in the entire country. Once again, he has over a 70% completion percentage, and that's 9 straight games that he's done that. It's absolutely remarkable. The last person to do that was Kellen Moore in 2010. So this win for Oregon has once again showed us that they're a high caliber team within college football. And Dan Lanning, you should have won that game against Washington. But now that you get another chance against Utah, who has really been one of the toughest teams in the country, in the toughest road environment in the country, when we know how Bo Nix is on the road and you show out this way, it is a scary sight for everybody in college football.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I just think Bo Nix, he's proven really this year that he is one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. He's so consistent. He obviously has great command of this offense, their ability to spread the football around to their athletes and to create, just explosive plays consistently is what's been so impressive. You know who their ballers are. You know how good Bo Nix is. They still find ways to get it done each and every week. So credit to Will Stein, his first year as an offensive coordinator, coming in. Bo Nix, he was not the same as last year. He's actually gotten better. So, credit to that coaching staff for making this happen.
Quick impromptu pick here. Neutral site, Oregon, Washington today. Who are you taking?
I mean, I think it's like the little Giants thing. If you play 10 times, Oregon's probably going to win 9 of them, and unfortunately, this last one, the lack of field goals and just the lack of situational awareness really is the difference right now.
And we got somebody in the chat that said, they got beat by Washington. Well, that was the reason why,
no doubt.
What you just explained perfectly. But if I saw these teams playing again, because the way that Washington played the week after the Oregon game was really upsetting. They didn't have one offensive touchdown, and they would have won that game. You brought that up earlier, Arizona, had they decided to kick the field goal instead. But in the group, y'all were asking what our thoughts are on Notre Dame. So why don't we show you the highlight
the fans what they
and
want.
Get right to it. So Notre Dame was hosting Pittsburgh, and we'll pick it up in the first quarter, no score. Chris Tyree says, let's get this party started. Guys, this will be a top play somewhere because 1, here comes the 2 to the 3 to the 4, broken tackles, and everybody's on the floor. To the crib, 82-yard touchdown, and this is why special teams is such a huge part of the game.
I don't think they blocked anybody on this play. This is just a one-man show right here. He made the entire special teams unit miss by themselves. Oh, there's one block. There you go.
There you go.
Other than that, man, that was just Tyree all day by himself.
Yeah, Irish take the 7-0 lead there with that return. We'll go next into the second quarter. It's the same score. Audric Estime. If I was to estimate, he's going to score plenty of touchdowns.
He's pretty good
this season. 17 yards out, Notre Dame up 14. Third quarter, Irish up 17. Price. Makes them pay the price. No, you will not take me down because I have the strength of Thor's hammer. Notre Dame leads 24-0. Later in the third, they're up 31. Pitt fumbles.
Oh, boy.
And Henderson recovers it for the touchdown. That made it 37-0. This one was all fighting Irish. They win it 58-7.
Goodness.
Great game by the Irish. 3 phases, all done well. Just an absolute remarkable performance.
It makes you wonder, okay, so this Pitt team beat Louisville?
I know,
it annoys me.
Louisville beat this Notre Dame team pretty handily.
It annoys me, and that goes back to what we just talked about of 9 times out of 10 you'll beat them, but that 10th time you did.
This is why college football is awesome and also frustrating at the same time for us picking games.
Well, BYU has actually had the upper hand against Texas in their previous 4 meetings. A couple of them they won. Not so much today. Early in the first, Xavier Worthy catches the punt around the 25. Goodbye.
He is worthy! He is worthy!
7-0. Texas makes a statement early on in this game.
That was so clean.
And then just over a minute to go in the first half, Texas up 14-3. Malik Murphy fires one deep to the end zone again. No Quinn Ewers in this one. Back up Malik Murphy looked pretty solid, finding Adonai Mitchell there for the tutty. And then 9 minutes to play in the fourth. Texas up 21-6. There he is again, Mr. Mitchell. with the touchdown. Texas goes on to win it 35-6. Question that a lot of people were asking, Maddie, this week: what does the future of Texas look like, at least in the interim, without Quinn Ewers? Malik Murphy, I think, answered some of those questions here today. He looked great in the spring game. He looked pretty solid here today against a good BYU team who has had success entering the Big 12 this year. But what do you make of Mr. Murphy's performance today?
Malik Murphy has all the talent in the world to be a phenomenal Division I quarterback and to lead this Texas team wherever they need to go. The dude has all the ability in the world. You saw it. His size and strength on the field is apparent. When he ran out to the field, Scubie was like, oh my God, look how big and strong this guy looks. And it's true. Dude, 6'5", he's got a really strong arm, and that's really the big piece right there. That guy, number 24, Jonathan Brooks, if they can be balanced on offense, running the football, and Malik Murphy just building confidence in himself. You saw a few throws today. He felt like a little awkward. He was kind of trying to get his feel for the game, which is natural. It's the first time that he's played, and here we are at the end of October. But I really do have faith in this kid to make all the plays on the field that they need to keep their hopes alive for the college football playoff.
Yeah, Jonathan Brooks, 16 carries, 98 yards, and a touchdown. We did a segment, what was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, about players that are non-QBs who should probably be up for Heisman consideration, and Brooks is right there at the top of the list. He also had 40 yards receiving in this game. He's a versatile back, and every single year he's gotten better and better. This Texas offense is not all about the QB position. Brooks is a great running back. They got some great wide receivers who are weapons in the kicking game as well, and you can hand them off the ball in a jet sweep. Texas is a well-balanced team, but I know after they got out of the game and they saw that Oklahoma lost, they were like, dang, bro, because that was going to be our get-back game. You get them back, and then you get back into CFP playoff.
Yeah, I got to imagine, too, that Texas is feeling a little bit, I don't know, like happy and also a little bit frightened about their future here because, they took care of their business, but their friends, Oklahoma, didn't today. So now, you can only do what you can do. Texas has that win earlier this season against Alabama. They got to.
Is that enough?
Oh, yeah, is that enough? Yeah.
We'll see. But it's like that's why you got to win pretty now. You really do. And you almost got to take a page out of what Oregon did earlier in the year. It's like borderline unethical, but you got to put it on some of these football teams late. There's no more taking the starters out when you're up by 28 or 30 or whatever. It's like, no, we got to put on some points and really make it special.
Yeah, out of all the one-loss teams, the Power 5 teams, the one that want to make the playoffs. Coming into this week, there were 2 teams that had the best chance with one loss to make the playoffs. What teams do you think those were?
With one loss, probably Alabama.
Alabama and Texas. They were both at over 90%. 90% chance to make the playoff with the one loss if it came down and everything worked out for them. But now at this point, I know that the loss with Oklahoma hurts Texas.
Yeah, no question about it. I think Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12 at large are going to need some help. Maybe from the SEC. I don't know. I mean, Georgia answered some questions, though, today, man.
They did.
Oh, my goodness. People saying they shouldn't be in the top 4.
What a highlight.
Shouldn't be number 1. 25 straight wins
for
the Georgia Bulldogs. Carson Beck, 315, 2 tutties. They trounced Florida today.
All right.
Look, let's not pretend that Florida's the best team in the country.
Yeah.
But, does this answer any questions that you had about Georgia? Minus Brock Bowers, Matt?
All right, so now I'm going to take like a weird take. Maybe we're going to find out more about this Georgia team and what Carson Beck is all about. Now that Brock Bowers is gone, it's going to force the coaching staff to say, all right, we don't have to force feed Brock Bowers the football for us team to go. And I thought Carson Beck played one of his best games of his career today. I really did. I thought he made great decisions all day, easy throws, easy completions, good stuff over the middle, McConkey, especially the one for the touchdown. So a lot of good plays by Georgia. And yeah, I think we've been slightly disrespecting this football team, and we'll see how they finish the rest of the year. They really don't have a ton of great matchups left, but Tennessee will obviously be one of them.
Yeah, Tennessee is going to be
Missouri,
one of
excuse me.
We will talk about Georgia's schedule in just a second. There are 4 weeks left in the regular season, guys, until the college football playoffs. A lot of teams have their eyes set on the college football playoffs, but not every team has the easiest schedule getting there. Here's a look at the AP top 10 teams with the number next to the school. That's going to signify their strength of schedule the rest of the way. If we can get it up there in just a bit, we will. But for example, yeah, there you go. You see Alabama, strength of schedule remaining. They're the 32nd toughest in the entire country. So with that said, given the fact that Halloween is 3 days away, guys, and many of you watching at home no doubt are indulging in some of the pre-Halloween festivities, we figured we would go ahead and talk about a couple of teams that have some really scary schedules down the stretch. Georgia might be one of them. So let's go ahead and talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, who took care of business here today. But when you look at it, they have, the seventh scariest remaining schedule the rest of the way. You mentioned who they have to face. They got a tough one that could very well decide the SEC East coming up next week in Missouri.
No doubt, Missouri is a talented football team. Go ahead, Scoob. I know Missouri. That's one of your teams right there.
Yeah, that's a game that I look at for sure. And 86%, that's a little bit higher than I thought it would be.
I'm with you.
When I've looked at what Georgia's been able to do this season, when you talk about the SEC and being able to get to the quarterback, they're second to last in the conference.
Yeah.
12 sacks coming into this game, coming into this week with the quarterback. They haven't been able to generate much pressure on the QB position. So as for Georgia, they have the seventh hardest schedule in the country to close out the season. If you're going to be able to do anything against some of these teams, you got to be able to get to the quarterback.
Scoob, I know that you had said that you do not think that Georgia should be in the top four, or maybe haven't earned that spot. If they are to pick up a loss, who do you think it's going to come to of those three ranked teams that we saw on their schedule?
I honestly thought Missouri. Missouri is a team that I feel really strongly about. Their only loss of the season is against LSU, and that was a shootout. And LSU has been playing some of the best football in the country lately. They're a really hot and cold team, but especially on the defensive side of the ball. Right. But what Jaden Daniels has been able to do with Brian Thomas and Malik Neighbors has been unheard of. The last time LSU was able to do that with a wide receiver combination was Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. So the weapons that they had on the offensive side to be able to battle with LSU, with Luther Burden, with Brady Cook, they're a tough team, and I think they'll be able to give Georgia a run for their money.
So, Maddie, let's take it out west and talk about Washington. We talked about them a little bit already on this show, but they also have a top 20 toughest schedule remaining in the regular season. Biggest win to date is over that Oregon team, but the offense looked real bad last weekend against Arizona State. They got Stanford tonight, so they're going to look to get the offense back on track. Regardless, though, Maddie, the road ahead is filled with potential pitfalls.
Well, I can't believe that the chance to win versus USC is 50%, especially from what we saw from USC versus Cal today.
Well, this was coming into the weekend.
I know. I apologize. Yeah. I got too excited. I apologize. But with USC, the Utah game is obviously going to be very difficult, especially with how their defense will match up against Washington's offense. Oregon State is absolutely a tough one. And Washington State is going to be no sleeper for them either. I know it says 89% right there.
That's a little high.
Yeah, that's a little high for me too, especially with what we've seen from Cam Ward in that offense and being explosive and dynamic. I think that run for Washington is going to be very difficult for them to run the table.
You agree there, Scoop?
Yeah, definitely, because the Pac-12, what we talked about all season is the cannibalization in the conference. They can take each other out, and we thought they could get multiple teams within the college football playoff, but now we're looking at it, and the predictor would tell you itself with the analytics that it is less likely for them to get multiple teams. It's a Big Ten that has a good chance to get multiple teams.
The Big Ten has just about the same odds as the Pac-12 does to get two teams in, as the Pac-12 does have one. Over the Big Ten, University of Michigan. We're going to Oregon here. Yeah, so we'll go Oregon.
Yeah.
The Pac-12 actually has a 40% chance to get at least one team into the college football playoff. Based on what we saw from Oregon today, I don't know. It's tough at this point to say that the Pac-12 is not a two-bid league right now. Obviously, things can change once you get down to the Pac-12 title game, but I don't know, things could work out where you do see two teams.
I mean, I know the Big Ten and all that, right? The SEC, great, okay. But let's just talk about this. Would you rather see a 2-loss Pac-12 team or a 1-loss Big 12 champion?
Probably take the two teams in the Pac-12.
I'm going to take the two teams in the Pac-12 too. I really do, because I think I value this league a little bit more as far as the competition and the quarterbacks that play in it. So I really think that Oregon State is the real tough matchup for both of these football teams late. So they can absolutely spoil both of their hopes of making it.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about this Michigan team. And again, a lot going on surrounding this program right now, as certainly everybody should be aware. It's alleged that football staffer Connor Stalions was attending games of opponents and allegedly videotaping opponents in an attempt to presumably steal some signs. So, guys, this story is not going away. Neither is the difficulty of Michigan's schedule, Scoob. We just mentioned it. Big Ten's got a good chance to get 2 teams in, but here's their schedule coming up, and it obviously hinges on that Ohio State game there.
Yeah, the reason why Michigan has one of the toughest, I think it's a top 5 strongest remaining schedule in the entire country, is because of those 2 teams, Penn State and Ohio State. And quite frankly, Penn State struggled today. For anyone that watched that game, Penn State is lucky to have walked away with that. Drew Allen throwing a deep touchdown pass for the first time. We haven't seen that in, I don't know, not all this season. But as it comes down to Michigan, man, this sign stealing scandal, it takes away from what the team is doing on the field, which is what I hate to see, because they're a great team. And the way that they've been playing, I know their opponents have not been good, but when you look at their control of the game, they dominate from start to finish. And Michigan definitely has a good chance to win it all and continue to just make some noise in the playoffs, Matt.
Yeah, the investigation is all focused on not Michigan. It's Jim Harbaugh. Let's just call a spade a spade. It's all about him and what they feel about this person, the self-inflicted 3-game ban that he did to himself, the other incident with the offensive coordinator and all that kind of stuff that's been going on behind the scenes. And now this. I just feel like the NCAA is kind of attacking him personally.
It feels like it, yeah.
And what I really am kind of I'm scared of the most in this situation, the most scary situation for me is that the ban or something is pretty harsh on the school, on the student athletes, and then Harbaugh just says, you know what, I'm just going to go to the NFL and move on. And that's what it sounds like. That's what really bothers me the most. Pete Carroll, great dude. I'm actually a fan of Pete Carroll. I like what he does as far as a coach and a motivator and all that. But it still really bothers me to this day that he was a part of that USC team that got in trouble and then was able to walk away just hands clean of all of that stuff. And meanwhile, Reggie Bush's Heisman Trophy is being taken away from him. So it's just so weird to me that there's no accountability for him at the end of the day because he could just leave.
It feels like it feels like a last dance. This feels like the last dance for Michigan because it continues to pile up with Harbaugh, to your point. Right. And immediately I just started to think to myself, okay, we got the offensive coordinator being investigated by the FBI for hacking computers. And then we got more information dropping from Connor Stalions. And then the thing with the cheeseburger. I mean, the cheeseburger, really, the 3-game suspension. So it's just piling up. And with Harbaugh had already being involved in head coach discussions in the NFL, you just think, okay, the Bears, maybe they could use a quarterback. I don't know. The Chargers, a quarterback coach. So I think Harbaugh, this might be it for him.
This story, regardless, is not going away. And it's going to be here for a while. And it's incumbent, unfortunately, on the players to, like you were saying, Maddie, take the brunt of this and have to go out and play. And do their best. Obviously, it's not going to be an easy task, but it all hinges on that Ohio State game later on in the season. All right, let's go ahead and check out some game-changing connections.
Yes, sir.
Now, Maddie, presented by AT&T 5G. You're going to make me get up in my spacesuit here and walk over there.
Yeah, you got to moonwalk over, Sam. Oh. Nice and slow.
So we got the mic loose here. So we're going to talk about a couple of games here, or one game, I should say. Florida State and Jordan Travis today. This is basically just going to be a highlight reel for Jordan Travis and what he can do on a football field. But I think a lot of people forget that he can certainly throw the ball, but he's one of the more elusive quarterbacks in terms of being able to run the ball as well, Maddie. Right?
No doubt, no doubt. And really, Florida State in general, just as a football team, is extremely talented. You're going to see Jordan Travis right here. He gets just caught off guard with the snap right now, and all of a sudden he's just like, you know what, I'm going to take it upon myself to just go right through the teeth of the defense. You see the tackles weren't even ready to protect him, but he did a great job of just adjusting and making chicken salad out of chicken
Doo-doo.
That's right, baby. All right, so I appreciate you, Scoob. Thank you so much. Right, but Jordan Travis, that's what he's been doing all year for this football team.
Sure, and then his pass to Keon Coleman, that connection has been dynamite all year long, but it seems like the wide receiver room is getting smaller and smaller with all the injuries piling up.
The injuries are key, absolutely, but where we see the difference is that this offense has been able to at least add Trey Benson into that pass game. But right here, it's a run play design. They're just going to throw it out to Keon Coleman in a one-on-one situation out there fast, quickly. Him versus that corner one-on-one, he's going to win a lot of those matchups. You see the speed and the strength there at the end to finish.
Yes, and then the pass to Trey Benson, too, out of the backfield. This Florida State team can hurt you in a plethora of ways.
Ooh, good word.
Like that word?
That's an SAT word right there. That's a Hogwarts word right there. But you're right. There is a plethora of plays to be made out there because Jordan Travis does a great job of just being the great general and commander for this team. He's been playing banged up and hurt the entire football season. And we're going to show you a clip here in a second where it's just the Trey Benson show. You're going to send the guy in motion. It's man coverage. They just roll it out there, halfback screen to the left. The offensive line are out there in front of him. But once you get Trey Benson in space, he is going to do the rest for you. His ability to make people miss, play physical between the tackles, and then also to just outrun people right there. This is why he's one of the most dynamic football players in the country. Yep. So Trey Benson is really a game-changing talent, along with Keon Coleman, and then Jordan Travis doing a great job of just making it all work.
Real quick, Maddie, I always hear Florida State is a great team, but. Like, I feel like there's a lot of people who have a lot of questions about Florida State and their ability. Do you have any sort of qualms or pauses with this team as it's built right now?
No doubt. I've been saying that, I feel like, for the past few weeks. You even heard me say it, too, when we were picking the Florida State-Duke game. I said that Florida State would win by 2 scores at least, and they really should have won by more. They just play undisciplined football too often in the game. Okay. They have a great defensive line. They give up run gap contain too consistently against a Duke team that all they wanted to do was run the football. So they just got to be a little bit more disciplined at doing the simple things more often, and their athleticism and depth will take care of the rest.
Excellent stuff from the man from Slytherin. Those were your game-changing connections presented by AT&T 5G.
Infamous Ghostface scream mask, especially with the one with, you can pump the blood running down just because, you know, it was fun scaring little kids.
Scooby-Doo when I was younger. I don't think I've been able to top that since.
Rut-row, Raggy.
All right, that was a great Scooby-Doo impression, if I must say so myself. So let's fire up the mystery machine for another edition of Scooby-Doos and Scooby-Don'ts. And the way that this is going to go, I'm going to bring up a number of things that have happened throughout the week and today, and then I'm going to label it as something whether it's Scooby-Doos or if we just think Scooby-Don't, y'all can chime in at the end. So let's start off with the SEC Network. Jordan Rodgers out there for the game in Jacksonville dressed as Vanilla Ice, and he decided to drop some bars.
Stop. Grab a drink and listen. Florida, Georgia are back for a brand new rendition. Oh, no. Get the ball first, better hold on tightly. Run to the end zone daily and nightly. Whoa, will it ever stop? Yo, I don't know. But Gators and Dogs got 4 quarters to go.
Jordan, my boy, I'm trying to Google a ghostwriter for you right now because that wasn't it. Hey. So we gonna label that one as a Scooby-Doo. I respect the courage, though, to go in there and decide to rap. I mean, that ain't the right act. Let's move it on. Now, this one is a great video from the Portland State president and Cud. Prove that age ain't nothing but a number. If you ain't in the gym getting that work in, what is your excuse? Because my girl is out there tossing weight like she's one of the boys. That's what I'm talking about. And we gonna call that one a Scooby-Doo. So shout out to you for getting in there with the football players because, you know, some people ain't about that life. Yes. And clearly you are, my girl. All right, now this one goes back towards last week. Check out the Washington State player here, number 8. Bro, you're on the field.
Where are we going?
Somebody put him in the lost and found because he does not know where he is. Squirrel. Come on, man. That right there was Devin Richardson. And if you're on the football field, make sure you keep your head on a swivel. With the way that he was moving, I'm going to simply label that one as a Scooby-Doo,
don't
man.
do that.
Come on, Don't do that on a football field and all of a sudden act like you don't know where you are, you know? It's not going to help you, my boy. Make sure next time you keep your attention on the runner that's on the field. All right, this next one, we got Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. At this press conference earlier this week, he had a little bit of fun with the reporter, turned the tables on them. Apparently, he coaches his son flag football team and asked him questions about his play calling.
Two things, right? Second, third grade championship game, okay? 2 trips to the red zone, 0 points. One play was a reverse pass that was intercepted in the red zone. You were the offense coordinator on that?
On that,
yes. Thoughts on the red zone play calling?
If you're going to dish it out, then you better be able to take it.
No doubt.
Very good points there from Marcus Freeman.
Yeah.
And I like the honesty, so we're going to call that one a Scooby-Doo. So shout out to Marcus Freeman for having some fun at the pressers, because us, as media people, we welcome it. We welcome it. So that's nothing but love right there.
Not really.
And then this next one, I feel strongly about it, because James Madison has been disrespected.
Yes.
They're ranked 25th in the country, 7-0, but can't play in a bowl game.
Oh, let the boys play.
The rule by the NCAA is to make them wait 2 years, but these boys they got more than 6 wins last year. They're balling out of control this year. You cowards, put them into a bowl game. That, for the NCAA, is a Scooby-Don't. But I'm going to drop a Scooby-Doo on James Madison because, hey, nothing but respect to y'all boys, man, out there working like the Hokage from the Hidden Leaf Village. They're out there doing their thing. They're casting some spells.
Absolutely. I love it.
And then this morning, Pat McAfee out in Utah, we saw the scene there. The crowd was electric. And they peer pressured Pat into taking a little something off.
These people did ask me to take my shirt off just about 5 minutes ago, and I obliged because of how incredibly kind they have been. But a couple weeks ago, we were in Seattle, Washington, and I thought, wow, West Coast football is awesome. I mean, you got to do it.
I mean, why wouldn't you?
Listen, it's 7 a.m. out here.
Let's go,
It didn't take much convincing. I don't know.
Listen,
The pure pressure, man. Come on.
if you're slanging and banging and in the gym, you might as well
Take it off. Take it off.
Come on, man.
No.
Pat, I'm right there with you, but apparently I don't have as much.
This is a
pull
family
as you.
episode.
Take it off? No.
Since when?
We gonna call that one a Scooby-Doo. So that was another edition of Scooby-Doos and Scooby-Don'ts.
That was awesome. Colorado, UCLA, the Buffs able to take a 3-0 lead. Shador went 7 for 10 on the first drive, 62 yards, and they kicked a field goal. Obviously a big one out there at the Rose Bowl. Let's take a live look in here as UCLA will take their first possession of the game.
Oh, interception!
There he is. That's Travis Hunter with the pick.
What did I say? What did I say about Hunter?
Wow, what a play. Empty formation right there. Colorado runs cover 2. Travis plays that trap corner right there and read the quarterback all the way. Fantastic read by him.
Good bounce back too, Scooby. You were mentioning he got targeted a ton in that Stanford loss.
And I'm sure that's what UCLA was thinking. Like, we're going to come Travis's way, and I'm sure he's gotten his legs under him now. But if we could have saw the replay, I can see it in the screen right now. Travis made an incredible play. It's similar to the play that he did against TCU. They're going to review this and try to see if he actually made the catch. But his catch radius is insane. Look at this.
Catch or no catch? Tell us in the chat. Let's see what you think.
Looks like he got underneath the football, so I think it's going to be a catch.
Not moving that much.
No, he definitely has control of it. Does he get underneath? Yeah, I think so.
You see it move a little bit.
It's pretty close.
just a little bit. Still,
it was ruled a catch though on the field, an interception, right?
You need irrefutable evidence to overturn it. I don't know.
Right there, it looks like he lost it a little bit.
Yeah, that may be coming back.
I'm going to give the kid an interception. You guys are haters.
Yeah, I would want to give him that interception. I hope they keep it because that was an incredible play by Travis Hunter, which proves why he's so good at the cornerback position.
Yeah, and I just want to say really quickly for Travis in this situation, he is, I think, primarily a zone corner, which is not like a knock on him because it gives him the ability to kind of read the quarterback and react. And his ball skills, I think, are superior that way. So he could be kind of like a Richard Sherman type of player.
Real quick before we go, USC was about to lose the game to Cal. And then they go on and score 21 points in the fourth quarter. There's still about 3.5 minutes to go. So I know a lot of you guys will be watching at home, and we certainly will be watching with you guys as well. But thanks for spending some time with us here on this Saturday in Week 9. For Matt Sims, Skubie Mageza, I'm Sam Ravech. Have a happy and healthy Halloween, everybody. And thanks for tuning in and watching the College Football Show presented by AT&T 5G. We will see you in Week 10, everybody.
Peace.
Toodles.